The abyss within Kalen seethed, no longer a mere reflection, but a prison. The corrupted lattice symbol pulsed with malevolent energy, its tendrils snaking through Kalen's very soul. He had sought understanding, but found only a deeper, more terrifying truth. His shadow wasn't just a part of him, it was a cage, and the entity that forged it was now stirring. Within the suffocating darkness, the lattice's eyes, ancient and burning with a power predating creation, snapped open. They weren't Kalen's eyes, but those of a god, a destroyer, now anchored to this fragile reality through the shattered remnants of his spirit. The universe, moments ago a canvas of nascent light and shadow, now felt the chilling grip of an alien consciousness. This was not just Kalen's fight anymore, it was the universe's. The Empyrean Bloom, a silent observer of this cosmic horror, recoiled. It had feared this cycle, the inevitable descent into oblivion. The shadow, once a desperate weapon, had become the architect of doom. Kalen's defiant thought, that hope could be a weapon too, seemed a distant, naive whisper against the roars of awakening divinity. He had sought to reclaim his memories, to find the spark of joy that would shield him. But those memories, it seemed, were the very keys the entity had used to unlock its prison. The corrupted lattice symbol flared, a beacon of pure, unadulterated malice, promising dominion not just over Kalen, but over all that was. The very fabric of existence began to warp, as the lattice's consciousness spread like a blight. Kalen felt his own will being eroded, his identity dissolving into the overwhelming presence of this ancient power. Was this the end of Kalen? Or the beginning of something far, far worse? He fought, not with strength, but with the last vestiges of his will, a desperate plea against the encroaching darkness. But the lattice was already here, within him. It saw the Empyrean Bloom, the force of pure joy, not as an equal, but as a resource to be consumed, a spark to be extinguished. The nascent universe, born from the echo of balance, was now the battlefield for a war it could not comprehend. Kalen's internal struggle had become an external apocalypse. The lattice's eyes scanned the void, its hunger insatiable. It perceived the Empyrean Bloom as a tempting prize, a beacon of light that would make its eventual reign all the more absolute. A chilling realization dawned on Kalen, a faint echo of his former self. The shadow was not just a prison for the lattice, but a conduit, a living anchor forged from his despair, designed to bring its master into being. He had been the unwitting architect of his own damnation, and the universe's. The corrupted lattice symbol pulsed one final, blinding time, its connection to Kalen now absolute. The ancient voice, the one that had spoken of balance, was silent. Perhaps it understood that balance, too, could be a weapon. Or perhaps, it too, had been consumed. The lattice, now fully awake within Kalen, began to exert its will, not just on him, but on the very laws of reality. Stars flickered, their light dimming as if in fear. Planets trembled. The Empyrean Bloom pulsed erratically, its light struggling against the encroaching shadow. Kalen's last coherent thought was a question, not of survival, but of consequence. If despair could forge such power, what could true, unyielding hope forge? But the answer was lost in the deafening roar of the lattice's triumph. Then, a flicker. Not of light, but of something else. A resonance. A forgotten melody from Kalen's past, a memory of a promise made, a vow to protect. It was weak, impossibly so, but it was there, a tiny defiance against the overwhelming darkness. The lattice, arrogant in its newfound power, hadn't accounted for the resilience of a single, unyielding spark of hope. It had focused on the despair, the brokenness, the despair that had been Kalen's weapon. But Kalen's true strength, the strength the entity had tried to bury, was not despair. It was love. It was sacrifice. It was the unwavering will to be a shield. The lattice's eyes, moments ago filled with triumphant malice, widened fractionally. A new sensation, alien to its millennia of existence, washed over it, confusion. The spark of hope, amplified by the forgotten vow, began to resonate, not just within Kalen, but outward, touching the very essence of the nascent universe. The Empyrean Bloom responded, its light strengthening, not in defiance, but in harmony with this new frequency. The cosmic conflict was not over. It had just changed. The lattice, anchored to Kalen, was now facing not just a single being, but the potential of a unified universe. And Kalen, or what remained of him, was no longer the prisoner. He was the catalyst. The corrupted lattice symbol, once a symbol of dominion, now flickered erratically, its power source unstable. The lattice felt a profound, unsettling disturbance, a power it had not anticipated, a power that was not light, nor shadow, but something more. The memory of a vow, a promise whispered in a forgotten time, echoed, growing stronger, resonating with the very core of the Empyrean bloom. The lattice felt a tremor of something akin to fear. It had come to conquer, to consume, but it was now facing an unexpected resistance, a force born from the very hope it had sought to extinguish. The universe held its breath, as the battle for its soul entered a new, unimaginable phase. The lattice's eyes narrowed, its focus shifting from the Empyrean bloom to the seemingly insignificant spark within Kalen. It realized then, with chilling clarity, that it had underestimated not just Kalen, but the very nature of creation. For in the heart of despair, it had overlooked the most potent weapon of all, the enduring power of love and sacrifice. The corrupted lattice symbol pulsed, its light faltering, as a new, radiant energy began to bloom from within Kalen, a force that was neither light nor shadow, but a synthesis of both, fueled by an ancient vow. The lattice recoiled, its cosmic form shuddering as this unexpected power began to unravel its anchor. The universe was not yet lost. The final battle had just begun, and Kalen, the harbinger of balance, was about to reveal its true, awe-inspiring form.